Aloha, welcome to the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus Park. If this is your first time checking out our podcast, you can get us wherever you get your podcasts. We're pretty much on every single main platform for podcast listening. We also have a YouTube channel. Please like it, subscribe, leave a comment. It matters. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. First thing I want to do is shout out our sponsors. First, we have Defend Hawaii. They've been my sponsor from the beginning. They took care of me from the start and believed in me from the start. But go check them out. They have a store in Winter Mall called No One, but you can go on their website, defendhawaii.com, and go check out what they have. They got some stuff coming out for spring and summer. Guys, they got board shorts. Girls, they got pareos, some new stuff. So go check them out. Get ready for summer. Defendhawaii.com, promo code ATB Pod upon checkout, and you'll get 15% off your full order. So go check them out, ATB Pod. Next, we have IREP Detail Supply, and they're your superstore, one-stop shop for everything you need to detail whatever vehicle you have, polishes, waxes, whatever you need. They have a store in Temple Valley Shopping Center. They also have one in Las Vegas, so go check them out. You can also go on their website, irepdetailsupply.com. If you use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, you'll get 15% off whatever you need, whatever your purchase order is. So go check them out. Last but not least, we have our medicinal mushroom company. And they're our locally based medicinal mushroom company. It's medmushroomhigh.com, Medicinal Mushroom Hawaii, and they have 4 extracted mushroom tinctures right now. Everything's grown here locally, and they have lion's mane, chaga, turkey tail, and red reishi. And I take this stuff religiously every single morning and at night, the red reishi to go to sleep. The lion's mane is good for neurological thought process. I take it before I record, but each one of these has a good medicinal properties. Go check them out on their website, medmushroomhigh.com. This time, if you use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, all capitals, you'll get 45% off your first tincture of mushrooms. So go check them out. I love this stuff. Go check them out. Aloha. Okay, this week my guest is the outside hitter for the UH Rainbow Wahine. She's also the daughter to comedian James Mane, who I had on my show. Her name's Tyla Reese Mane. What's up, girl?
Hi.
Thank you for coming on my show. You just practice.
I had weights today. Luckily, practice is tomorrow, so
How far
I
out
got a
do you
little bit of
guys
break.
how far out do you guys start practicing with the team before the season?
So regular season, we'll probably start our summer workouts around, I want to say like first-ish weeks of July, like middle of July too. And then we'll go all
Okay.
the way until August. And then the first 2 weeks of August are dedicated to our double days. So we'll have two practices for 5 days out of a week.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's like a 6 a.m. practice until like 9 o'clock, and then a little break in between. And then we go again at about, I want to say like either 2 or 4, something like that.
Hmm.
And
That
then after that, we'll go into season, and then we'll have Christmas break off, and then we'll start up again. I think we started around like January, and we've been going since then for our spring season. So it's kind of like different hours and stuff. It will go from 8 hours of practice to 20 hours of practice. Then we'll have our spring scrimmages. Then last week we just finished our last week of 20 hours, and then now we're in 8 hours. So
Jeez, you guys must
yeah,
be in shape though.
we we should be.
I was at a tournament last weekend for my
Mhm.
daughter and we played Robin's team.
Oh,
Unfortunately, we lost to them, but they kept it pretty close. They're pretty good, but
yeah.
they had to ref, so I was standing next to Robin and she looks very intimidating. Her face looks very mean, but she was so nice and she was joking, and I was like, okay, she's her like her demeanor kind of threw me off, but she is super funny, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
she must be fun to be around, but definitely not someone you'd want to piss off.
Coach Rob is a very caring person, and she treats each and every one of us like her own daughters. And she's very um, involved in our like personal lives as well as like our volleyball lives. So like if we have any issues, she has like an open door policy. So if we ever need anything, we can just go up to her office. She has a super comfy couch, and she's like, if you need to talk, just come to the office. And she's funny. She cracks jokes all the time during practice. And
Oh, that's cool.
the reason she looks so serious, like specifically like in volleyball, is just she's super passionate. She's probably one of the most passionate people I've ever met. Because especially her being like at the level that she made it to, like Olympic setter, like she's super passionate about just volleyball in general, whether it's like coaching people or playing or anything like that. She's just overall just really cares about the sport.
That's cool. That's definitely somebody you want as a leader and as a
Yeah.
coach, because especially because she did it. Like she
Yeah.
walks it like you talk it.
Yeah.
You can't say, "Well, you're not doing it. You never did it." Like she did
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Well, to back it up a bit, I first heard about you through your dad, and he
Hmm.
explained to me that you played I for IAEA high school, you play three sports. I think it was soccer, volleyball, and football. And
Yep.
that's what stuck out in my head because you normally don't see girls playing football. How was playing
Yeah.
football in high school? And also, how was playing football? Because your dad was coaching the team at the time. He wasn't a head coach, but he was
Hmm.
a coach though.
Hmm.
So how
It
was that?
was it was definitely when I first did it, I was kind of like joking around with people. I was like, yeah, I mean, I play soccer. I can definitely kick a football. Like it's easy. And it was definitely a joke at first. And I started talking to our head coach, who at the time was Wendell Say. He's the AD at Kamehameha right now, but I was like, oh yeah, I'll come out and I'll try and I'll kick. And he's like, okay, yeah, we need a kicker. And like a couple years prior to me, there was a girl that kicked at IO too, and she was one of my close friends, and I like reached out to her and I was like, hey, well, how was it? And she was like, it was awesome. Like I really enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? I'll try. So after I talked to the head coach about that, I told him, hey, like, what if my dad coached? And he was like, oh, I would love for your dad to coach because that head coach was also one of my dad's head coaches too, or like he
Oh,
coached
okay.
when my dad was playing too. So he got the luxury of coaching both of us. But yeah, and then I told my dad, I was like, yeah, I told Coach Say that you're gonna come coach, and he was like, I didn't want that. He's like, I didn't tell you to do that, and I was like, yeah, you did. And, like the whole thing was just he was just like, oh, whatever, and then he went, and it was kind of just both of us kind of like going into it, and just we ended up enjoying it and like loving being in that environment together. Um, Football in general, just playing the sport, it was hard for me at first, like just being a girl in like a male dominated sport for sure. But I think after I kind of proved myself to like my teammates
Hmm.
and showed them like I'm not just like some girl that's like, okay, I'll try. Like I am like the real deal. Like I can kick the ball. I think our first preseason match, we uh, had a scrimmage against McKinley, and it was the first time that I was kicking in front of everyone, and they even like put um, PATs in just so I could kick. So I was
Oh,
like, okay.
nice.
So I went and I don't know where the video is, but there's a video on Instagram of me kicking at McKinley, and I like blasted one from like I think my first one was like 30, 40 yards or something like that. And I think that's kind of when people were like, okay, she's not just here to just mess around. And I think that kind of helped me get my foot in the door just with the guys in general. And I kind of started being friends with them a little bit more because personally, I'm not a girly girl, and I don't think I ever have been. I was definitely brought up as if I was my dad's son instead of his daughter. But I fit in really good with the boys, and they kind of took over as like my brothers in a way, and I was kind of
Yeah.
just like their sister. And they were always super nice to me. The coaches were always super sweet to me. I had my own in our locker room because it was just like it would be weird if I was just sharing the locker room with the boys. So
Yeah.
there was a coach's office that was right in the front of the locker room. So you'd walk in and then coach's office right there. And I got the coach's office to be my own locker room.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, so it was air conditioned. I could close the door so I didn't smell the boys like everything smelled bad in there
Oh
but
yeah.
but my office. But yeah, and then everyone was just so supportive of me kind of like breaking a barrier.
Yeah.
And a lot of I think one of the things that was most touching to me and like the thing that was most memorable, and I take that with me every day, is the amount of girls that have come up to me and been like, "Oh, you're that girl that kicks. You play football." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." They're like, "That's so cool." And like I it like really was just so heartwarming for me to be like it kind of made me feel like I was someone that they looked up to. And
Yeah.
I would always advocate for like just because you're a girl doesn't mean like you can't do anything. Like you're not only subjected to just this box of things. Like you're a girl, you can only do this. You can do so much more than just this. And it was nice because there was also a lot of like little kids just in general, whether there's like boys or girls that would come up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." And I was like, "Thank you." And it made me feel really good. But
That's
from
super cool.
the yeah, from the coaching perspective of my dad, it was definitely at most of I would say 99% of the time it was smooth sailing. We were good because he didn't coach my position,
Yeah.
so he knew if my dad doesn't know how to kick a football, so he's not even going to touch the subject. But like there was one time where I think it was like one of the only times he yelled at me in practice was that I went into the locker room to go grab my stuff, and I went in there and I was like, oh, this AC feels really nice. It's really hot outside, and I took a second and I went back out a little bit later, and he was like, "What are you doing?" Like, and then because I'm not doing anything, like usually football practices, kickers just go with the special teams, or like then
Yeah.
you'll go on the side, you'll kick by yourself. And he was like, "What are you doing? Give me, you know what? Give me a lap." So I had to go. I don't know if you know what IA's football field looks like, but I was
Yeah.
running on the dirt track.
Oh.
And he was like, "You're gonna keep running until I tell you to stop." And I was like, and everyone, because nobody yells at me because I usually like I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like when I say that everyone like paused and looked at me while my dad was yelling at me, I'm like they really just stopped and was like, "Oh snap!" Like, like, oh, there's her dad, not her coach.
Yeah.
And but other than that, I mean, it was super fun. It was always nice. Whenever I would get into like ruts at all, like I have a couple pictures of like if I like missed a kick or something, like there's pictures of me hugging my dad and kind of like him being like my safe space and being like, "Hey, it's okay, like it's fine." And I really appreciate him being there for me, especially like at a time like that. And he was a big supporter of me breaking those barriers and stuff. And it was super nice. I wouldn't trade that time of my life for anything.
That's super awesome. Yeah, and he always spoke highly of you. And I mean, he's a big dude, so having him yell, I could see why the whole team
Yeah.
stopped. I remember I had him on my show, and then I've never met him in person at that time
Mhm,
because it was during COVID. And then when I met him in
mhm.
person, I'm like, oh, like
Yeah.
you are big.
Yeah.
But
Because he's not a little guy.
yeah, but I definitely respect that, and I'm the same. I tell my daughter the same thing. Like, there's no box that you're in. Like, you
Hmm.
can do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
it's all up to you and your mindset, and then you got to put the work behind it.
Hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
gonna be hard. And it's a trip because I think she's developing that and understanding it. But like
Hmm.
how you were supported by your dad, I'm the same with my daughter. Were you you were a three sport athlete in high school? What was your favorite
Hmm.
sport? Because right now you're playing volleyball, but you're I thought you were more tendency for soccer from what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. So, ooh, it might be a tough question, but I, because I started playing soccer when I was 6, and I played all the way until I want to say like my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
And because my sophomore year is when I fully made that transition from just playing high school volleyball to being like, okay, I want to take this more seriously. And I moved
Okay.
into club volleyball and stuff. But it's a hard question because I feel like each sport kind of gave me like a different feeling from each one.
Hmm.
Like volleyball was definitely like a place where I felt comfortable in like a positive environment. And I
Hmm.
think that was the reason why I transitioned to volleyball in the first place was like on a soccer field or when you're playing football, usually people are yelling at you and they're like, "Oh, you have to do better." Like it's not that volleyball isn't competitive, but it's just like volleyball like oh, I shanked the ball out. Right back, you're fine. Like someone's always high-fiving you like, "No, you're good." Like I didn't get that from soccer and from football, so I think I looked at volleyball as like a break from that and being like, okay, well, it was also like just like a better space for me mentally because I was like, okay, like it's fine. Like I would tend to like get really hard on myself and like self-criticize myself and be like, oh, like what? And then it would kind of force me to like, get into like a panic. And volleyball was just like, okay, like the person to my right isn't mad at me. I don't have to be so hard on myself.
Okay.
Yeah, but soccer, I it I want to say that out of all of those sports at the time, like high school specifically, I would definitely say volleyball was my favorite.
Hmm.
But I will always have a soft spot for soccer. And I definitely miss the contact part of soccer. Though I don't know if my dad told you about that or not, but
Uh-uh.
I was always I was always so much bigger than girls at that age. I was probably around like 5'10", 5'11" at that time. And I was going up like usually soccer is like majority of the girls that are playing are um a lot of Asian girls. Like there's a lot of
Little
Japanese
Asian girl.
girls and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So 5'10", 14-year-old me going against a 5'2", 14-year-old girl. I was
You're smashing
I was
them.
yeah, yeah. I think there was one game. I like soccer had I had a different mentality there because I was kind of like it was the way that I saw it was that it was yes, it was a team sport, but it was more like if I can do my job the best, I can change this whole thing. For
Mm,
volleyball, it's kind of like there's no like individualism. Like it's okay, I have to have other people touch the ball for me to succeed at what I'm doing.
yeah.
Soccer, it's like, give me the ball, I'm going. Just me. I don't need anybody else. And
Yeah.
there was one game where I think I got a yellow card and I was just like I was like, okay, yeah, yellow card, let's go. And usually that's not people's mentality, but I was like, you know what? Let's see if like not to be like, oh, I wanted to go and like hurt people because that's definitely not what I was about. But I was like, I wonder if I can get a red card by the end of the game. Like that was just like how I thought about things at that age. But
Try
I
to
would
test
definitely
it
say
out.
volleyball. Yeah, I'd be like, oh, where's my limits here?
That's funny. So you took to volleyball in high
Hmm.
school kind of more predominantly as your favorite, but You did you play club?
I didn't play club because I started playing volleyball. It was weird the way that I started playing volleyball. I came in from a private Catholic school. So I went to a
Okay.
private Catholic school from kindergarten to eighth grade. We didn't have a high school, so I naturally went to my whole family's alma mater.
Yeah.
I ended up going there, and the volleyball coach found out that there was like a almost 6 foot 16-year-old coming in. She was like, get her out, like get her out on the court. I'll change your mind. And he's like, oh, she's a soccer player. Doesn't matter. And um, I went, and my freshman year, I was goofy footed. I could not
Oh.
hit a ball to save my life. I couldn't pass. I was like, I could probably jump just like barely 3 inches off the ground. um, but I was like, hey, this is kind of fun, and made that transition from my freshman year to my sophomore year, being like, okay, I want to take this more seriously. I want to go somewhere with this. And I started playing club for Jammers. Jammers was my first
Okay.
ever club. And
Jammers.
yeah, my head coach at IAEA, Coach Blythe Yamamoto, she was my club coach.
Oh,
That's
okay.
kind of why I got into Jammers in the first place. And she put me on her team. And the cool part was that there was also girls that were from IAEA that also played in there.
Hmm.
So on our like 17s, 18s team, we kind of like mixed groups and stuff. And then after Jammers, COVID kind of hit a little bit
Oh
after
yeah.
that. And the last thing I remember for Jammers was we were supposed to go to Orlando. I don't know if you know about the Orlando tournament,
We
but
just went last year. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
It's
I was
hot.
supposed to go to that. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so glad I didn't go
Yeah.
then. But we were supposed to go to that, and then COVID hit, and my parents were like, maybe, it's not a good idea to go. And eventually the whole thing got shut down. And when COVID was kind of like the whole situation was getting a little bit better, and like the shutdown was kind of like going away and stuff, I got in contact with Coach Kevin Wong, and
Okay.
he signed me up at SAS. So I was playing for Spike
Sass.
and Serve. Yeah. So we never had any real games, but
Oh, really?
we only had practice. So I would go and practice at their new gym that they have in Kalihi.
Yeah.
And I think we played like a couple scrimmages, like against a couple teams, like maybe like 2 or 3 games. And
Oh,
after that, I that was it. I really have only played two, like I would say like 1.5. I would count like SAS like 1.5 years of club. Um, but after that, it was really hard going into my senior year because usually everyone is probably recruited by good schools.
yeah.
And having only those 2 years and having 1 year not like having any film from game
Oh.
was really hard. So yeah.
That's crazy. I know what
Yeah.
you mean because went to Orlando this past
Mhm.
and I've got COVID and my
Oh.
daughter. And yeah, it was the ending was horrible, but yeah,
Mhm.
just because we had COVID. But um wasn't Wong, he was an Olympian too, correct?
I believe so. I know that he played at UCLA
Yeah.
too.
And his
Yeah.
brother's
So
like a coach somewhere, I think. I forget.
yes. Yeah. I want to say Pepperdine.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I think
Yeah.
when the last time that they came
Yes.
here, he was coaching.
That's right, because I went
Yeah.
to that game. You guys
Oh,
played
really?
them. And then I took my daughter guys to Raising Cane. Is it Canes? Right by and their whole team came in and I was
Oh,
like,
really?
"Oh my God, they are tall." And
Yeah.
they were there, the coaches and everything. I was like, "Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
We got to see you guys beat them and then we got to see them go eat chicken."
Watch them eat chicken. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was cool. So, because you didn't have that much film, how hard was it to get recruited? I know you went to a junior college, or was it
Mhm.
Division two or?
Junior college. Yeah. It was. It was pretty. it was pretty hard if I didn't have the support system that I did because even though I was playing for SAS, I still had my high school coach, my first club coach, helping me out and stuff because like they knew like I was late to the game, and
Yeah.
for a really long time I was just emailing coaches, and just trying to get my name out there. And I was using a lot of old film. I was using high school film, which was hard because it was always just my freshman and sophomore year because junior year, senior year, we didn't even have seasons.
Oh, wow.
Um, and then a lot of my club film, but I still wasn't at, I definitely was not at the level that I am now, for sure. But it was a lot of recruiting, a lot of no's, a lot of I don't think you're ready, a lot of oh, like maybe we'll figure out like a spot for you on our team, which really means we don't really have a spot for you on our team. Um, but it eventually I got a full scholarship to a junior college in Wyoming, Casper, Wyoming specifically. And the funniest part was that I had gotten an email from their assistant coach, who was their recruiter at the time. And he was like, hey, like, we're interested. We saw your film. Like, we want to talk to you. And I like looked at it and I was like, Casper, Wyoming. That's really what I thought. I was like, Wyoming. I was like, Wyoming is a place? Like, there's places in Wyoming. I don't like being from Hawaii. I don't know how many other Hawaii people, but I don't know where the states are. Really,
I don't either.
realistically, I know where California, Oregon, Washington, and a couple
New
other places,
York.
but
Yeah.
Wyoming, yeah, Wyoming is not on my radar.
Yeah.
So I got the email and I was like, it's fine. Like I didn't really read too much into it. I saw Wyoming and was like, no, thank you. I'm okay. I'll stay here. I'll figure something out. And my coaches texted me and they're like, respond to this person now. Like they're offering you something good. And I was like, for the longest time, I was like, I really don't want to go to Wyoming. Like that's so out of nowhere. Like I don't know anything. I pulled up YouTube videos like 10 facts about Wyoming. Like I was trying to figure out like what is this place? And I ended up getting in contact with a coach after kind of dodging it for a long time, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll give you a full ride. Room and board, books are covered. We'll cover your
Wow.
meals." And I got really lucky because at the time they're giving they're paying for either, I want to say, I don't think it was a full ride or a full round trip, but they're paying for plane tickets basically.
Okay.
And that means a lot because from Hawaii, I had to go from Hawaii to Vegas. And then from Vegas, I had to go to Denver. And from Denver, I had to fly to Casper, Wyoming, because Casper, Wyoming does not have an international airport. So you cannot fly directly there. And there's probably two gates in the entire airport. And that's how small it is. And the planes look like they're like
Sketch.
tiny, yeah, they're like tiny planes, like propeller planes. And you're like, I don't know if I want to get on that. But uh, yeah, I kind of sat down and I was like, okay, like, well, tell me about your school. And I was like, you know what, I realistically wasn't looking at a lot of good offers. There was a couple places that are offering, like, it was mainly just junior colleges and NAIA division, which is like just one up from junior college. But
Mm.
I wasn't looking at a lot of options, and I was kind of like, these people are giving me this money, and they're giving me a full ride, or like, oh, these people are trying to put me on academic scholarship. And I was like, you know what, Casper, Wyoming, here I come. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. How was it when you got there? Was it what you expected or you're like shell shocked? Because I went to Wichita for something and I was like,
Oh,
they don't even have a hill. Like I was like, this sucks. Like I'm never coming back here again.
Yeah, first and last time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like Casper, Wyoming definitely lied to me when I first got there because I got there in the summer. I think our report date was like July 31st or something like that. I don't remember, but um I got there and I was like, it's so cool here. I've never been in like like the middle of the United States before. Like, and I haven't traveled a lot. Like, I've
Yeah.
only traveled to like soccer tournaments or like volleyball tournaments. That's it. Like, I've never like traveled this far in general. And um, it was very much a lie. It was definitely not what I thought it was. And I was like, wow, it's nice and sunny here. And the worst thing about Casper, it is one of the windiest places I've ever been. Like, I
Oh.
would even call that like my windy city. Like, that's how windy it was because it Wyoming is very like there's places where there's mountains and stuff, but like Casper was pretty overall like just flat
Oh, okay.
nothing. And fun fact about Wyoming, there's more cows in the state than there are people. So that was
That's not a
another
good
thing.
stat.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was like. I found that out and I was like, is that something to be like, oh, that's cool, or like, oh, that's concerning?
Yeah.
But it was nice when I got there, and then I think it was maybe sunny for about a week,
Hmm.
and then it got cold and it
Oh,
got
real
windy,
cold.
and yeah, I was like, wow, it is summertime, and I am wearing sweatpants and a hoodie to go outside, and like even when I was there for my second year, my sophomore year, I was there during the worst blizzard that Wyoming has ever had. And I mean, I was excited because like my freshman year, I was like, oh yeah, snow. I've never seen snow before. Like every
Overrated.
Hawaii person, yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, snow, like this is so exciting. I go and the snow is just frozen rain.
Yeah.
I was like, this is nothing special. I
Yeah. It's
was
cool
like,
for
it's
like the
cold.
first 10 seconds and then it's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm over it.
Like I was so excited because I was like, oh, I have like a winter coat, like I have the fur on the hood. I have like I'm layered up, like I'm super warm. And my dad was like, wear gloves, wear one of those like face masks, put a beanie on, you need a scarf. And I'm like, no, I don't. He was like, layering is so important. And I was like, no, it's not. It's fine. I'll just go out and like my jeans and my hoodie underneath my winter jacket with my my shoes on. I'll be fine. I went outside freezing. And I immediately was hit with, wow, my dad was right. And
That's the worst when you gotta admit
yeah,
it.
I know. I was like, I'm not gonna tell him because if he calls me later, he's like, oh, how was it? I'll be like, "Ah, it was awesome. I was
Minor.
actually, yeah, I was like, it was actually too hot with my winter coat. I had to take it off. So, but it was so funny because a lot of the girls on my team, there was me and two other girls that were from Hawaii. So
Okay.
they like one girl had already been there, and then the other girl was my age, but a lot of the girls were either from Wyoming or like some surrounding state, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you've never seen snow before? Let's go!" So I went outside. I was like, "Guys, this is so cool!" I literally have a video of me like walking, and like everyone's just like walking like normal, and I'm just like in the snow, and I'm like, "Guys, look, a snowball!" Like I'm just making a snowball, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And like people are looking at me weird. I'm like, "This is so cool." And I was like, "Guys, what if I just jump into the snow?" I wish they told me no. I jumped into the snow and like the snow was like up to here. I jumped and went this.
Oh yeah.
I was like, where's the ground? Like I thought it was up here, but yeah, it
Yeah,
was fun
snow.
some days.
That's cool. How was playing on the team over there? Like how was that?
It was definitely an experience because volleyball it was like a good bad experience, but volleyball in Wyoming and just like that area in general is so much different from Hawaii volleyball
Oh, how so?
because Hawaii volleyball is more like because a lot of the girls here are like undersized. Like there's a lot of like shorter girls that come out of Hawaii.
Yeah.
So a main point in Hawaii volleyball is always defense, defense, defense. Because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're going up against these like 6'4" girls that are
Monsters.
like committed to Wisconsin, but hey, if she can't hit it down and you're digging every ball, you're fine. Like you can still
Yeah.
win the game like that. But over there, everyone is around my height. Like everyone's like ranging from like 5'10" to like 6'2". So the defense aspect was not there.
Oh, I see.
And um it was a lot of heavy offense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because it was a junior college, like just because like that's the level of play, but we weren't very like technical about things.
I
Like there
see.
wasn't ever like a breakdown of like, okay, here, this is the form you have to have. Like, okay, if you do this, then this is gonna happen. Or hey, maybe there wasn't Coach Rob likes to reference it as like there wasn't volleyball IQ, like volley IQ is the word that she uses. There's not a lot of like thinking that was going on. It was kind of just like get the kill.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get the kill. Why didn't you get the kill? I don't know. Try again. Like get the kill. Like there wasn't like, okay, like I have this blocker up, this blocker up. Oh, if I roll shot it here, or like it was just if you got the point, you got the point. Good job.
No
And
strategy then.
yeah, there really wasn't. And it was hard for me being in Wyoming in general, but also because I was so new to the sport, I was still a little bit behind people. I'm super thankful that they gave me the opportunity though, because if I were them, I definitely wouldn't have taken a chance on myself. But um, I didn't get playing time my freshman year, and I was, super homesick. I was
Oh
going
yeah.
through like seasonal depression, which I didn't even know was a thing because it's always sunny here. Like it's
Yeah.
always sunny in Hawaii. Like you don't, there's never like, oh, it's like snowy outside. This sucks. Like I'm stuck inside. And I was going through that,
Hmm.
and just the lack of playing time was super hard for me. And I was kind of like, what am I doing wrong? And I was talking with my dad, and he was like, okay, maybe like you redshirt this year and like you get that year back. And I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna play. Like I'll just redshirt this year. I'll get it back. I'll use it at like the next school that I go to. And my coach, I guess we weren't on the same page because the rule with redshirting is that if you step foot on the court, your whole year is burnt out.
Oh, like
Yeah,
for a game or
yeah. So if I
practice?
went in for a game, if I
Oh,
went
okay.
in like, so say I hadn't played like the whole year, and there was one game where she subs me in for one rotation, my whole year is burnt out.
Oh
So
shoot.
yeah, so I think we were in like a regional play or like after our season, and our starting opposite wasn't delivering, and
Hmm.
she put me in and
Oh,
burnt my whole year, and I couldn't redshirt at all. And then, which I'm really thankful for, because I definitely don't think I should have redshirted at a junior college.
yeah.
But then it was kind of weird because after that, um I was kind of promised like, oh, okay, like, you know, over the summer, like you got better. You're gonna be our captain. You're gonna be our starting opposite. Like all these promises of this, 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 and then season rolls around. I don't play.
Oh, this is your
Yeah,
sophomore
I
year.
yeah. So I didn't set foot on the court. Like I would every once in a while, but it was always like, okay, done. Like it was really short lived. And I didn't start playing more consistently until maybe like 3/4 of the season was gone already.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so I finally got like my first actual starting game, and I started playing more consistently. And yeah, after that it was just like I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to lock in or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was trying to have like a better mindset on it because in junior colleges they have, instead of senior nights, we have sophomore nights
Oh, because it's two
because
years.
those are
Yeah, yeah.
those, yeah, those are your last years. So I was at least grateful that I was allowed to play in front of my dad came up, my grandma came up, my mom, my stepdad, they all like came up to see me, and I was like, okay, at least like thankfully she let me play this time.
Oh, that's super
And
cool.
yeah, so I would definitely say Wyoming was a difficult time in my life, but definitely like an experience that I needed to go
It
through. To like,
made you strong.
yeah, for sure. And I, after going through that, like I always tell people, there's also something that I told my dad. I like to tell people that I came up with it, but it was really credit to my dad. Um, but it's always, you can always come back home. You can't always leave home because there's always
Yeah.
like that fear of like, oh, I'm gonna go, like, oh, I'm scared to like leave home. Like, I'm, like what's gonna happen. But with me, like already taking that step out, I like completely agree with that. Like, I always
Nice.
tell people, like, if you have the opportunity to go away, do it. Unless like you got the opportunity to like play at UH like I did. But
Yeah.
um I like preach that. Like if you have the opportunity to go, go and then like experience it for yourself and like figure out like, okay, I didn't like this, or okay, like this was awesome. Like I'm glad I did it. Cause at least like you'll never have that regret of should I have should I have gone? Cause you'll always like you're just stuck at home now.
Yeah. So how did you end up at UH? That must be a cool story because like as a volleyball player in Hawaii, that's all you see is UH volleyball
Yeah.
and
Especially
that's
like
the
growing up here.
yeah, yeah.
So there's a couple ways that I got onto UH, which I'm so thankful that they worked. But I over the summer, well, okay, so this is what happened. I'll give you the full rundown of
Yeah,
my
let's go.
recruiting
Let's
story.
go.
So when I was in Wyoming after my sophomore night, our coach reached out to us and was like, "Hey, there's this recruiting camp that's in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. Um, if you guys want to sign up for it, there's going to be like this list of coaches there. Like it's good for exposure." And I was like, a lot of the girls that were a part of my sophomore class were quitting volleyball. Like after that, they were just done. And it was
Oh,
only like me and one other girl that was like, okay, I want to continue playing. I was the only person out of my sophomore class that ended up going to this recruiting camp. And I was like, I've been to Wyoming, I'll go to Nebraska. Like, might as well.
kind of
Um,
similar.
yeah. So I went, and after that, I got a couple emails from a couple schools. I got one from this college in Lacey, Washington. It's St. Martin's University. And I was like, oh, cool. Like they're a Division II school. But I was like, you know what? Like that was like the highest that I had reached because I was still kind of getting like um, NAIA, like
Mm,
D3. And I was like, you know what? D2, like that's like people always like kind of like shine the light on like, oh, D1 or nothing. Like there, if you have the opportunity to play college volleyball in general, like it's such like an amazing experience
yeah.
that because like for a long time I was like, I don't want to go anywhere but a Division I school. So when I got that email from that coach, I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll look into it. I'll keep it in mind. And things started getting a little more serious, and um I wasn't offered a full ride at first. I was offered partial. Then I got a little bit more of a partial. Then I got a little bit more partial, and then I ended up getting a full. The worst part for this team was that by the time they gave me a full ride, I was already talking to Coach Robin, and I
Oh,
was already so it's kind of like the timeline of things. Because especially the way that I think about it is that my high school year and my like my first two college years were basically like just the same. They were basically just like okay, not a lot of film, not a lot
Yeah.
of stuff to go off of. Then again, not a lot of film, not a lot of stuff to go off of. But I came home for the summer and I was working out. There was a men's player. His name is James Anastasiadis. He used to play for UH. Super good. He is a fan of my dad, which is such a weird thing to even think about. That like a player that I used to watch as a kid is like a fan of my dad. But
Everybody's a fan of your dad.
he likes to think that everybody is. um, so he reached out to my dad and was like, "Oh, I like have these like volleyball trainings. Like, does your daughter want to come?" So my dad reached out and he was like, "Yeah, like, is it okay if I bring her?" And there is a volleyball gym on Dillingham called Wahine. That's where we had our practices. And I would go and I would just perfect my craft and I would just be in there all the time. And my dad kind of implemented that into me that like the more you work, the better you are. Like you have to put in not just like everyone is doing this much. You have to do this much to be better than the people that are like already here. You're here. You have to work to be better than them. Like you can't just be doing the same things as them.
Yep.
So I was in there consistently, and there was just one day where he was like, "You know what? Like I see so much potential in you, and I really think that like if we got you the chance, like I think you could be like I think you could go to UH." And like that sentence alone, just like I was like, no way. Like growing up, like watching these girls and like just like idolizing them and being like, did you just say University of Hawaii? Like I could go there? Like that's insane. And I told my dad, I was like, yeah, like this, he said like I could have a real chance. And he went and talked to the coaches and then my one of my uncles, my uncle Jason, like knew Coach Rob when they were younger and in college. And my uncle Jason has always been super supportive of me. And he the funniest part was that when I was younger playing volleyball, he would like if my dad posted on Facebook, like, oh, here's Tyler playing volleyball, my uncle Jason would mention Coach Rob and be like, oh, Robin Amo, like here's your next recruit. And
Yeah.
like Coach Rob like has no idea who I am. And my uncle was just like, hey, like here's my niece, like recruit her, like bring her home. And my uncle reached out to Coach Rob and was like, my niece, this is my niece, like I just want like if you could give her like the opportunity, like just to try out. And he kind of talked to her and was like, she's this, she's that, like she's athletic, she's tall, like I think she has like a real chance. And there was just one day where I just got, I don't remember if it was email or text, but I got some kind of message from uh the recruiting coordinator, one of our coaches, Coach Khalil. And he was like, "Hey, I would love to sit down and chat with you." And I almost cried. I was like, "Wow, like are you serious? Like this is actually happening." And I was like, "I'd love to." And then I finally got in touch with um Coach Rob through my uncle, and she was like coaching her club team at Gym One over here at UH.
Yeah.
But she was like, "Yeah, just come." I'm pretty sure these were like 16-year-olds, and I was like 19 at the time. And she was like, "Come practice with my girls," and I was like, "Okay." Like I was super nervous. I showed up to the practice like an hour early, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm so nervous." And I went and I guess she saw like I did have the potential that my uncle said that I did. And after that, I got a call from them. They're like, hey, can you come to the coach's office? And I was like, okay. Like I didn't think of anything, like anything of it. And I was like, all right, like, okay, I'll be there as soon as I can because I literally dropped everything. And I was like, I'm gonna go. I
Coming
need
right
to go to
now.
the coach's. Yeah, I was like I think I was at practice when they called me and I was like, "Do you need me to come right now? Because I'll leave my practice." So they're like, "No, just come after." And I was like, "Okay, sorry." Like that was weird. And um I ended up going, and they sat down and they're like, we'd love to offer you like a walk-on position on your team. And
Oh shit.
I was sitting there and I was like trying to have a straight face and be like, oh yeah. I was like shaking inside. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like the like little Tyla was freaking out. And
That's awesome.
it was like so surreal. I was like, there's no way that I'm sitting in front of these coaches and they're like, I want you to be on my team. And I didn't even care about like the scholarship part of it. I was like, you just told me you want me to be on your team. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
And I I was so thankful. I was like, thank you guys so much. And it was funny because Coach Rob was like, yeah, like just go home, just talk to your family. You don't have to let us know like right away, but when you can. I in my head was thinking, I don't have to talk to them. I was like, I'll tell
Right
you
now,
yes right
right now.
now. Yeah, I was like, can I just say yes now? But I had to like hold it back. But
Yeah.
and then I think the first person that I called when oh I might have I'm not sure what I did actually. I was like so excited in the moment, but I do know that I went to Starbucks and I got a celebratory drink. But I
Nice.
remember sitting in my auntie's car in the Safeway that's over here and just like crying tears of joy. I was like, this is amazing. Like everything that I've gone through with like high school and like my junior college, like it led up to this. And like I kind of felt like all the hardship that I had gone through wasn't just like something that was for nothing. And I was like, okay, like I did it. I did what like my dream is, which
That's
was playing for
super cool.
UH. Yeah.
So how dope did it feel putting on the jersey with your name on it?
It was I wish we had our names on it. I would keep it
Oh,
if we
that's right. You
did.
guys don't have it on
Yeah.
there. That's right.
I'm trying to petition to get our names on it, but
Yeah. To put on your
um
jersey with your
yeah.
number and
I
like
know, I was
that.
like if my last name was on it, I think it'd be a little cooler, but okay. But putting on the jersey for the first time, I'm pretty sure I took a million pictures and I was showing all of my family and all of my friends. I was like, guys, like I can't believe this. Like it's real. The first time that I put on the jersey wasn't actually like a game or anything. It was like for media. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I had to walk from the Stanton Sheriff Center all the way to like one of the buildings that's by the parking lot in my jersey. And I was like, I'm cool. I was like, I'm
Take
on
the
the team.
long way around.
Yeah, I was like, I'll walk slower.
Yeah.
I was like, everyone look at me. And I was just super excited. And I remember that I kept it on for a really long time after media day was done because
That's so cool.
I was just like sitting in the locker room because like I even got my plaque, so it has my name and like it says I Ahoy, and I'm just like sitting at like my locker just staring at it. And I'm like, wow, like I like wow, like this is so cool. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I take it off or do I like can I keep it? Like, but yeah, it was just yeah, it's
That's
just
super cool.
top 10 moments of my life.
I can't wait till my daughter hears this. That's so inspiring. And yeah, I mean I seen your post. It has the when you had your jersey on and it says chapter 3 to homecoming. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I kind
I
of
had
like
to I had to
that.
think
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah. That's extremely good. And how has it been? So this is your second year playing for UH, right?
Yes.
So how has it been from last year to this year? Because you guys did all right last year, and you guys, in my opinion, got so far, and I feel like you guys are like
Hmm.
gonna hit that next level. Is you guys are
Yeah.
fun to watch. I mean, I got to have courtside seats one of your games, and
Oh.
yeah, it's pretty scary. You gotta pay attention.
Yeah.
You gotta be locked in too, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be on Hungry Hawaiian getting hit in the head by a volleyball. But
Or like one of the girls chases the ball down and
yeah,
just punches you in the face. And you're like,
yeah.
oh, well,
There went my career as anything.
Now you're known as the guy that got punched in the face at a
Yeah,
volleyball game.
exactly. But how has it been from last year to this year? Like you guys are getting excited to start the season and well, you got a little
Yes.
bit of time left, right?
Yeah. Um, from this for well, okay, so from my freshman year, my true junior year to my because I redshirted my junior year. So,
Okay. So you get
um
2 years left
yeah, so I
after that.
had this year and well, so this past year I was supposed to have been graduated, but I have this next coming year in the fall, which I'm super thankful for. And from my first year here to my second year, it was definitely like a different kind of team.
Hmm.
Because our my first year we had, I believe, six seniors.
Oh,
Yeah, and compared to my second year, we only had two. We only had two seniors. And to have a group of 16 people and take away like six like core people
oh,
kind of threw everything off. And like we had to kind of, I would say like last year was like our rebuilding season, kind
hmm.
of. And it was a lot of figuring out like who's going to fit in what role and who's going to do what. Because, like I said, like we had six core people, six basically leaders just leave. And
Yeah.
we were trying to figure out like how to uphold the standards that they had for us, like
Hmm.
coming into a new year. And it was definitely rough at first, but I think the group of girls that we did have and the two leaders that we had, it it worked out perfectly. And I would definitely say that I think that if we had the same team from those prior year coming into the next one, I definitely think that we would have made it a little bit further in the NCAA
Yeah.
finals. And yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that this past year kind of transitions into this coming fall.
Yes,
But
what losing your setter and libero, huh?
yeah, we lost Kate, our setter, and Taylor, our libero. The good thing is that well, okay, so we have about like five, six like new people that came onto our team this
Hmm.
spring. So right now we're working on incorporating the things that we've had. Oh, well, okay, so the oldest person is me. Um,
So you're the
me
leader.
and yeah, I like to think so, but maybe not in a in my own way I am. But um, we're trying to carry on the the like legacy of some sort that we had from my first year and from that second year and kind of carry it into this third year and
Nice.
upholding that standard that was kind of implemented from the start. So that's kind of what we're working on now. So I'm hoping it gets a little bit better. But we've always had a good group of girls. Like
Yeah.
there's never been a time where it's like there was really any real drama because usually that's what happens with girl sports is
Oh
there's
yeah.
always some kind
But
of drama, something's happening. But
yeah, club ball is the same. Like
oh,
these girls are insane. Especially all our girls is from Waimanalo, Kaneohe. They get the
oh.
Mocahantis action and it's like you guys gotta knock it off.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Coach Rob definitely is a coach that is like no drama whatsoever. She's very she she tries to teach us how to be people and not just athletes.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time she's like, "Oh, if you have a problem, like go and talk to that person. Like say it to their face. Like we don't want like, oh, did you hear what so
Yeah.
and so said?" Like we're trying our best to like cut that out and stuff. And
That's the best way.
yeah, and she, like I said, like she's trying to teach us how to be people and not just athletes. Like our whole life is not just volleyball. Like we're after volleyball, we're gonna have to have like some kind of life skills.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah,
That's awesome.
I would say this is like also part of our rebuilding year in a way. And yeah, we have a little bit of a way to go, but I'm confident that by the fall it'll be all
Yep.
good.
I'm confident too. And I do notice through like a bunch of yours and your teammates' Instagrams, like
Hmm.
you guys do seem very close and
Yeah.
silly and fun. And I think that's what matters. I mean, you're doing this to not have fun, but you gotta
Yeah.
lock in at some point.
Yeah.
Um, shoot, your story is pretty cool. Like it's probably not everybody has one, I guess that's on the team, but yours one to me is cool. I think you could inspire some of these young up and coming girls and hopefully because of how you take your career, like they'll take notice and
Hmm.
yeah, for me personally, I'm excited to share this episode with my daughter and some of her teammates, maybe motivate them in a positive way.
Yeah.
Um, we've been going for almost an hour. I just wanted to get to some questions my daughter wanted me to ask you. She said, "How do you balance your academics and sports? And do you have any tips for her?"
Academics. Well, okay, so the thing that is kind of the biggest thing is to remember that you're student before athlete. It's always student athlete, it's never athlete student. So there's a lot of times where you have to prioritize like school instead of like, oh, my friends are gonna go hang out, and oh, like, you know what I mean, like the fun part. I think that's kind of what I was brought up doing from a
Yeah.
young age, was like just prioritizing like what are my priorities. Like my dad kind of taught me like, okay, are like you have to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, have like goals that are like yours. And especially like for us being on the road all the time, school is super important. And luckily our coaches understand that too, and they give us like specific study hall hours
Hmm.
during our trips, which I think is also just something that's really important to do, even if like even at your daughter's age, like
Yeah.
have like setting time, like okay, like this is what my week schedule is looking like. I have practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 4 to 6. Tuesday, Thursday, let me do all my homework like right now. And also like when you do have just like the littlest amount of downtime, if you have something to do, you have something to do. Like if you have homework that's due like 2 weeks from now, just do it. Like just get it out of the way.
All right. I can't wait for my daughter to hear this. I tell her the same stuff. Like, yeah, maybe hearing it from you, it'll sink in. But um that's a good concept and she does try to do that. She'll try
Mhm.
to do assignments ahead of time that way
Yeah,
she doesn't have to focus on it after.
yeah. I think another like another thing, sorry, but is like don't overload yourself at the same time. Like do what you have to, but also don't like get to the point where you're like burning out, where you're just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like I have so much, like you're stressing yourself out. Because then you're gonna get to a point where you're just like, I just don't want to do any of it. And you're gonna be
Yeah.
like, I don't want to go to practice and I don't want to do my homework. I'm kind of just gonna sit here and like be not stressed out for a second. So it's like I would definitely recommend like not being like, okay, like I have to do this right now because I have practice at this time, and oh, I have to do this, and just kind of I think one of my biggest tips would be to like I I picked this up really late. Like it probably within like the last year I picked this up, using a planner or a calendar and scheduling things makes your life so much easier. Like I know there's schools that like give kids planners like to use to like write their homework down and stuff. I took that for granted because college does not give you planners. You have to do it on your own.
Yeah. But you got these things. You can put it in
Yeah.
here, set alarms and all kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's see the next question. What helped you get What helped get you to where you are today?
I think the main thing, I would say there's about like two things. One thing being the support that I've had,
Hmm.
just like the support from my family, from my friends, from everyone that cares about me, also my coaches, and like kind of not just like having the support, but also like using the support that I have. Like kind of like falling back on it and being like, okay, like I can do this. Like there's a lot of times where I do lean on my parents. Like I'll call my dad and be like, I had a bad practice, and he'll kind of talk me through it. And like I like to think that his job is to make me feel better about myself and kind of like like since he's a comedian, he's always the person that like if I need to laugh about something, he'll always know how to do that. And my mom is always the person like I can call her and just like vent about everything and she'll be like, okay, are you done? Like, are you good? And I'll be like, yeah, I am. And
Nice.
like using that support that I have and using just like the resources in general. It's like also from like a volleyball standpoint, it's like, oh hey, like do you have training today? Or like should I like asking the coaches like, okay, what do I need to work on? And kind of like that kind of stuff too. And the second thing I would say is throughout my entire years of playing sport, like the number one thing is like, what do you do outside of what you have to do? That's like the number one thing. Like, what extra are you doing that other people aren't doing? Like, my dad always like kind of put in my head when I was younger, like, there was like a time where he would make me go to a high school and like run or something. And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I was a little kid. Like, I just want to like either sleep, watch TV, or like go play outside. Like I don't want to go run at a high school right now. And the one thing that always stuck with me was like, you're doing this while these other girls are sleeping. Like that was always what I like stood out to me. I was like, you're right, they're probably sleeping. And
Yeah.
I was just like, this is like I was saying, like, what's the extra that you're gonna do outside of like what everyone else is doing? And I think that's also what just like builds character and kind of gives you like that, like, what are you willing to do to be the best at what you do? Yeah.
You have no idea how happy I am that you just said that. Because I used to be a martial artist and I had that same
Hmm.
mindset, and I'm trying to keep that kind of mindset with my daughter. And she's been training with me, but I always want her to do more. And it's like
Hmm.
my daughter's 5 feet. She's small and she's a libero and she's so aggressive, and she's she's that kid. Like she's the one that tries the hardest. And I tell her, you're 2 feet smaller than everybody, so you gotta work 2 times harder than everybody. And like she'll
Yeah.
come to the gym with me, do plyometrics, and like she'll
Hmm.
do the work, and she takes it serious. And it's hard to hear from her dad, and every time she's like, oh, okay, dad's telling me this again and that again, and like she hears it all the time. But hearing it from you, I hope resonates with her more, because she she could do it, like you said, can do whatever she wants to do. But
Hmm.
um it's that little bit. And I always tell her, like, you can have two talented people, but the person that works the hardest is the one that's gonna be the it. Like,
Yeah.
is it's always hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
And I think it's starting to sink into her as she's getting older. She's only a freshman. And
Hmm.
um yeah, it's cool to hear you say it. So hopefully when she hears you
Yeah.
say it, then it'll resonate
Just be like,
even more.
yeah, that's yeah. Like
Yeah.
I like that when you've been
Yeah.
telling her the whole time, but
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, we've been she had a couple other questions, but you answered it throughout our conversation. So yeah. And I was gonna ask you if you do, what kind of work do you do extra? Like plyometrics, weight training, like all that stuff. Like what do you do on the side of like your traditional volleyball stuff?
So right now we have weights. Like we'll do weightlifting every once in a while, especially since we're in spring season. But during our regular season, we'll have weights every once in a while. And I think a lot of the stuff that I do specifically on my own is more in like the summertime
Hmm.
because that's kind of when we're like our coaches aren't really allowed to like instruct us on anything.
Oh,
I go to this place that's over here. It's called Tactical Strength and Conditioning, Darren Yap. I go there. I've been going there since I want to say in the seventh grade.
oh wow.
And over, I want to say one summer, because it's like a big thing to be able to touch 10 feet in volleyball. If you can touch 10 feet, like you're good. There was there was a year that I definitely wasn't touching 10 feet at the beginning, and by the end of summer, I was touching 10 too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's like really specific on like sports training. So like he was
Okay.
working me with like I was doing a lot of plyo, a lot of like quick explosive movements, a lot of squats, a lot of jumping in general. And I think that was something that helped me a lot. I would say that for from like a soccer player going to like a volleyball kind of aspect, the thing that was like the best thing for me overall was like the footwork aspect.
Oh yeah.
Like I think there's a lot of people like that don't have that like footwork and they're kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I can confidently say that I have the best footwork on my team because
Nice.
I played soccer. And I think that that's like a really big thing to work on too. So like plyos, weights every once in a while, conditioning when I feel like it, and a lot of footwork. And yeah, those are the
All
main things.
right. Well, one thing I want to touch on before we're done is what I liked about talking to your dad was the way he described his and your relationship. And for me,
Hmm.
I kind of, as a parent, I always take stuff from other people. And
Hmm.
because I have a daughter, and I only have a daughter. And I learned a lot from talking to your dad and seeing how your dad is and how he thinks about you. And then I
Hmm.
seen him at your game. Like he's standing on like by the tunnel and there's no way you're
Yeah.
not gonna know that's him, right?
Yeah.
And like just to see the pride in his face and how happy he was to see you doing your dream and like
Hmm.
I want that kind of relationship and have that kind of interaction with my daughter. And I think it's
Hmm.
working out in that aspect. But yeah, I definitely admire yours and your dad relationship as a father-daughter. And I think that's super cool. And that's something that I don't take for granted with my daughter. And I've
Hmm.
learned from you guys. So thank you for being a great example.
Well, thank you. It took us a while to
Yeah.
get to that point for sure, but me and my dad have always been close since I was a little kid. So it was always just like he was always there for me. And I think that's always like a big thing. And we actually just got back from he had a show on Kona and I went with him as his
Oh, nice.
videographer. So I got to spend 24 hours with him
That's so
and
cool.
I mean it's always a good time because I I definitely take over my dad in the kind of like way that he cracks jokes. We kind of have the same humor for sure.
Yeah. You guys made
Um,
videos together too, huh?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of the time I'm like, kind of forced to do that, but
Yeah. That's what I thought.
sometimes I'm like, do I really have to do this? Like, I'm in college now. Like, this is not stuff that regular like other college people are doing. He was like, do you want to be a social media marketer or not? And I'm like, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah, thank you. That means a lot, though.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, on Instagram, where can people find you on your social media?
My Instagram is my name, Tyla Reese K Mane. And that's pretty much the main social media that I use.
Right on, and they'll be able to see you at Stan Sheriff this coming
Yeah,
season. And for me, as always, you can find us on Above the Bridge Podcast on Instagram, our YouTube Above the Bridge Podcast. Our website is atbpod.com, and my personal Instagram is Thaddy Daddy High. One thing I do have to ask, after the season is done, I would ask for you to come on and talk to me about you guys winning some championships. So I wanna
I would love to.
request that. That would be super cool. And this is gonna be your senior year.
Yeah. So I'll
All
have my
right.
senior night this coming year.
All right. I'll probably be there. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, and it means a lot. And
Of course. Thank you for having me.
yeah, hopefully this will inspire some of these young girls and get them going chasing their dreams, whatever it may be.
Yeah. I'd love to meet your daughter one day.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. She's a little firecracker. Yep. Right on. Well, shakas for the cameras. And we're out. Shout out to the Artist Groove Network. Aloha.